Ladies and gentlemen, we are back breaking down the latest AP poll. Another mental health check on Ciarnan. Uh, Penn State needs to start paying this man's bills for therapy. Unfortunately, they're not going to do that. They're just going to keep losing to bad teams. The NCAA is making more transfer portal rules, and UNC is burning. It is on fire. It is a disaster. And we're going to break down all of that. So, without further ado, they're eating the dogs, Ciarnan, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
you
dogs.
know that?
They were
They're
eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to the school. Recruits are going to see this.
You have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out.
Oh, God. That's going to be part of our intro next year.
Ciarnan, how are you doing? We'll get into the Penn State stuff in a minute, but how are you holding up?
I'm barely keeping it together.
That's fair. At least we're doing the podcast this week so you can get out of your system. Imagine if I went away and then this happened. I don't know how you would have handled it, Ciarnan.
A total collapse.
That's fair. Before we get into that, I have to retract a statement that I've made on this show. And some people are probably thinking, wow, is it all the Indiana slander? No, if it were untrue, then it would be slander. I'm speaking facts. I'm just early. Earlier in the season, I said we need to get a third co-host to date an internationally renowned pop star. I would like to retract that request.
Okay.
For those who did not listen to The Life of a Showgirl, that came out last Friday, and there's a song on it called Wood that is exclusively about Travis Kelce's dick. On top of that, Swifties are psychotic, but they're breaking down some of the subtle messaging in it. Apparently, it is 2 minutes and 30 seconds long, and it is the ninth track. 230 or 23 in centimeters is 9, and ninth track, people are speculating that Travis Kelce's dick is 9 inches, and that's something I didn't need to know, and I would not need to know that about a potential co-host.
That's an interesting one, I'll be honest.
I didn't need to know it. I did not need to know about Taylor knowing a hard rock was on the way and Travis Kelce's love opening her thighs. Didn't need to know that. It's implied.
Yeah.
I did not need her to come out and say it like that. But Ciarnan, after I put all those images in your head, walk me through your brain during the Penn State game this weekend.
Well, it started off poorly, and then it got worse. So obviously, UCLA. For those of you that watched the game, UCLA started off, took 7 minutes off the board, promptly scored a touchdown off their first drive. They were 0 and they weren't 0 and something. They had not scored first quarter touchdown yet this season. And Penn State gifted them that. And then they also hadn't secured an onside kick, proceeded to follow up with that, and they nailed that one as well. Let's see what else. They won. I mean, obviously. Their head coach was replaced, 1-2 weeks ago. Their offensive coordinator was replaced and defensive coordinator replaced 3 days ago. 3 days ago at the time of the game. And they proceeded to absolutely whip both the Penn State defense and offense into not allowing them to score at all. I mean, they did. In fairness, they did, but it was abysmal. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but after the game, Drew Aller, despite everything he did wrong, which was a lot, was the best player on the Penn State team. Period. Despite what every mistake he made, he was arguably, statistically, the best player on that team. There have been memes flying in Twitter and Instagram about Franklin being beat. And if this doesn't show how essential a coaching replacement is right now, I don't know what will. I just don't know.
Yeah, I feel for you. But Ciarnan, look at it this way. I mean, last year we had another Big Ten coach who lost, and you sent me this on Instagram, so I'm basically stealing the joke. We had another coach who lost to Oregon, lost to an unranked team in conference, and then went on to win a national title. So you have that going for you. The Ryan Day path to excellence. So we use tools for this just to pull out clips, and two of the clips that spit out this week were about Penn State. Actually, all of them were, and I posted two of them because I didn't want to rub salt in the wound. So we're going to go to the comments on some of those, Ciarnan.
Oh,
One
God.
of them was about the Penn State loss or the top 10 loss, and is it time for a change? And you said kind of. John Gruden heed the call was one of them. Yes, we got killed by UCLA. Be careful what you wish for as a Nebraska fan.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State needs to get rid of Cal Sanderson. I hope I'm pronouncing his first name right. I am not a wrestling fan. And someone said, my brother in Christ, he has won 12 national titles at 4 in a row. What is your complaint? The original poster, I like Iowa. Gas equipment more expensive, which we get on everything we I keep saying I'd rather go 10-2 to be a bottom feeder. Paterno was not killing it against the Ohio States and the Michigans of the world. And then the other one I posted was you saying, even if we go 2 steps back, it's better than this. Someone, me, commented, I'm going to regret this statement in 1 year's time. How about in 4 days' time?
Yep, that's fair.
How about 0-4 UCLA? I want to address this one. No sadder thing than Penn State fans in their mom's basement. Ciarnan lives on his own. He is an adult.
Yeah.
Someone else, it sounds like they're already there.
Yeah.
And then someone agreed with you, though. Penn State is at its ceiling with Franklin. They need to move on. Will they most likely do worse than they have the last couple of years? More than likely, but James Franklin has proven time and time again that he is incapable of taking that next step. As TikTok's algorithm sucks. I did not mean to downvote that comment. Next step needed. He can't beat anyone that matters. And here's the big one, no matter what, he can't beat Ohio State.
Yeah, I saw another one that was making the rounds. It was Franklin has proven time and time again he can't win the big games. So just to show us, he lost the small ones too, which I thought was perfect.
Pretty much. I mean, it's really, really bad. And look, I think we all kind of expected them to lose to Oregon. No offense, Ciarnan. It was inevitable. It's the kind of thing we say it a lot on the show. It's the hope that kills you. You don't get your hopes up for these big games because you know what's going to happen. No one expected this. Penn State is usually a respectable program that will beat the bad teams, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, it was awful. There's nothing. There's no defense that I can possibly bring up, or even Franklin could possibly bring up, that makes any of this any better. I think I was arguably more upset at the Oregon loss because of the potential it could have brought us into the forefront. But this UCLA loss is just, hammered the final nail in the coffin. Really, it's one of those things where you're so defeated at this point that you no longer care what happens. And I I said this to a group chat I'm in, a bunch of Penn State alumni, and he said we were talking about the Franklin thing, and I said if he mentions being 1-0 next week against Northwestern, I am going to nuke France. Just because. But
Okay.
but then he did. He's like, oh yeah, we're focused on being 1-0. Brother in Christ, you are
Yeah.
3-2 at best. And frankly, the wins that you do have against FIU, Villanova, and I can't even remember, look so much worse. Look so much worse. Like, it's one thing to lose. It's one thing to lose a big game in a whiteout, which frankly we lose all the time now. We no longer have, since Franklin's been there, a winning record in a whiteout, I think, which is ridiculous statement. You are at home field advantage. You should be beating these teams, right? Even if you're the underdog, you should be beating these teams with home field advantage, right? If you go to Columbus, right, it's a nighttime game. They're number 1 in the country, and you're ranked 10th, right? Let's just say, for instance, and you lose that game. Oh, well, But teams are coming into whiteouts, beating us fairly consistently. And you're just like, okay, what's even the point anymore? If we're just going to lose these big games, I don't want it.
That's true. Well, Ciarnan, James Franklin is done, right? I think that's all. We can all agree on that. Can I interest you in a washed-up former NFL coach who seemingly had all his success from his quarterback and now has decided to use the local proms as his personal dating app?
I was with you up until the last part, but sure, hit me with it.
Senior proms, okay? It's not illegal.
It just doesn't look good. Yeah.
Bill Belichick is in the news again for, just like every week, for things unrelated to football, or at the very least, unrelated to winning football. Earlier in the week, on Sunday night, the Patriots upset the Buffalo Bills on the road. Drake May, former UNC quarterback, no posts from UNC football about Drake May playing well against the Bills in a big primetime game. Comes out that Bill Belichick had informed the UNC staff that they are not to post any Drake May or New England Patriots clips, which, look, if you're winning, you can do that. You cannot do that when you're getting blown out by Clemson.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And for the more and why I bring up him going to Penn State, he might be available. According to Ollie Conley, per sources, Bill Belichick has discussed buyout option with North Carolina's hierarchy. Belichick has signaled a willingness to trigger his own $1 million buyout if he can find a soft landing with another team or in media. Members of his staff are already talking to teams that are going to be in the college football playoffs about doing something for them during the playoffs. One coach said the Rats are leaving the ship. There are recruiting violations as well that are being investigated by UNC. They've also proven other recruiting and practice violations, which they could use to negotiate down Bill Belichick's buyout if he cannot find someone or another job quickly, which is something he's kind of said he would do. It's been weird and distant from him. They could not reach him during UNC's bye week. One UNC defensive assistant said, "What we've done to these kids is effed up." Yeah, so Bill Belichick's never coaching again.
Yeah.
Nobody in the NFL wanted to hire him. I doubt many college teams wanted to hire him, and this is why. It's a disaster. We've probably spent more time talking about, and this is partially my fault, talking about Bill Belichick's relationship status instead of Bill Belichick on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see him ever getting a coaching job again?
No, frankly not. Just because it's become too weird. Not even the way that it's like, yeah, the coaching sucks right now, and I'm willing to give the guy another year if it was just purely a coaching thing. But I think it's just too awkward, really. It's too cringy to be like, yeah, let's hire this guy with all the, baggage that comes with him. It just doesn't work.
I think he could pick 2 out of 3 he could either suck at his job, have just a bunch of weird off the field shit, or have the recruiting violations.
Yeah.
I think if it was weird off the field, probably not this weird, but he could get away with some weirdness. Even if the team wasn't good, if he had a squeaky clean record, if he was doing some recruiting violations and it was a little weird, but he was winning games, they wouldn't care.
Yeah.
This is just 3 for 3. Nobody's going to stand for this, really.
Yeah.
So some reports are all saying within 2 weeks he's gone.
Wow. Could that be with Franklin as well? Because that would be great.
Oh, maybe they'll just trade.
There you go. 1 for 1.
Would you want that?
Yes, but just for the novelty.
Okay.
Just for the novelty. Just a year.
Kind of like as reality TV.
Yeah. We need time away to step back and find ourselves.
That's fair. And you could look at it and go, well, this season's done, but we're gonna have fun doing it. Not on the field, God no, but everything else is going to be enjoyable.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Also, apparently they were shooting a Hulu documentary series, which has since been canceled because why anyone thought that was a good idea. Okay, it was a great idea for a documentary series,
absolutely.
But why anyone thought that once the team started losing, it would still be going on is insane.
Yeah, I loved that. There was somebody who was saying a documentary that shuts down due to poor performance was not a documentary. And I was just like, yeah kind of. It's just a hype video for the school. That's all it is.
It would be, at best, like you said, a hype video for the school. At worst, it's reality TV.
Which it was very quickly turning into.
Yeah, I'm so upset. I think I saw like an opposing coach should just buy the masters to the recording they already have and just show it to every recruit.
That would be great.
Which
unedited footage of Bill Belichick. That would be hilarious.
And Mike Lombardi apparently has a TikTok, which is insane. He posted like, "Oh, here's my typewriter. I like, using that because it makes me take my time and think." Like that embodies the issues with UNC football. They are stuck in the 50s. Bill Belichick's probably offering these kids like, "Hey, I'll give you a gift card to Chili's if you sign your bill." That is not going to sway these kids anymore.
Yeah, exactly. He's stuck in like early 2000s recruiting. It's like, we'll take you out to dinner or something, which is
the fact that was and still might be against the rules actually.
It is, yeah.
That is insane with all the stuff going on. But no, it's insane. And I forget what radio show it was. I think it was around Boston. They were talking about how in the NFL, coaching matters so much with scheming and things like that. In college, though, the talent disparity is so big, you cannot coach your way out of that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's one of those things that the actual problem with Bill Belichick at UNC is actually not the football on the field, which is, yes, terrible. I will admit that. But again, like you were kind of saying earlier, you can get away with bad football if everything else is fine. But we're just coming back to the same point of he needs to not be with Jordan Hudson. Like, that's it.
Oh, 100%.
That would clear up 90% of the problems.
It really would. So, yeah. Bill, we are here for any advice you need. If you listen to this first bit of advice, break up with your girlfriend, fiance, child, friend. I don't even know what she is anymore. Just end it. I don't want to say it's not doing anyone any good because I'm hoping you're getting something out of it, and she definitely is to the tunes of millions of dollars. But maybe find either someone more age appropriate or at the very least someone who does not want to be in the national spotlight.
Yeah.
I think those are probably the best options for Bill. But with the potential that Bill Belichick is going to be fired in the next 2 weeks, the NCAA has made some changes to the transfer portal that will impact these players. Players are now, before this rule, they got a 30-day window to transfer out once coach is fired. They are changing that to be a 15-day consecutive window beginning 5 days after a new coach is hired or announced. Players who are already in the transfer portal because their coaches were fired are grandfathered in. I have thoughts, Ciarnan. What are your thoughts on this rule change?
I'm kind of conflicted because I kind of get it with the shorter window to not just like let them, you have to kind of make a decision fairly quickly, but I don't really have too many issues with it. I feel like you're going to have some serious thoughts about it.
I do. First off, what was wrong with the way the current rule is? What was wrong with the 30-day window, Ciarnan?
Well, I think it was too long is essentially the point. Is like, if you can't, like, can you? Yeah, I mean, the only thing was the longevity.
I think longevity helped the players more. It allowed them to make a more informed decision.
Mm.
And this is really shortening it by 10 days because it's after a new coach is hired. It doesn't actually change anything, really.
Mm.
It maybe shortens it 9, 10 days, 15-day window, 5 days after a new coach is hired. So let's say it takes a day to hire or announce the new coach. It's never going to do that. They're going to be like, we're firing this guy, and this guy's now the interim. So it's 20 days, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate the idea of like a window, like, hey, talk to the coach, meet the guy, see what he says. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it did not matter. And also my concern would be schools manipulating this now.
How so?
I could see some school, let's say next year, by week 3, they kind of know, hey, we're going to fire this guy. They're not going to want to fire him the day before a game.
Well, yeah.
So
Obviously.
they'll fire him the Monday after week 3, tell their interim, hey, act as if you're the head coach. We're not going to say yet. Just run practices this week, blah, blah, but we're not going to make you the official interim. Then, like Friday, they announce it. Hey, this guy's the interim. Then the players have to try and sit out, which the fans are going to hate, and any school is going to look at, well, they quit on their team, and then lose their red shirt. Schools will try to manipulate this with that 5-day buffer window.
That's a good point. I did not think about that at all. Yeah.
Now, is that crazy worst case scenario alarmist behavior that people are going, that's crazy. No school's going to do that. Probably, but also before, I don't know, last week we thought no school would say, no coach would say, hey, don't post one of our most famous alumnus or alumni on social media, according to my 24-year-old girlfriend. Like, nobody thought that would be a thing that we'd be talking about. But here we are. Some school will try to pull this stunt. And then we're going to have to go back, or by we, the NCAA is going to go back and go, well, that was a mistake. We should do something else. And they're going to do something even dumber.
Yeah. Putting the cart in front of the horse, as it were.
Yeah, it's, of all the things the NCAA should be worried about, this is bottom of the list.
Yeah.
But I know you said you don't have strong thoughts. Do you have any other thoughts on that, or am I just getting upset over nothing?
No, I mean, you have valid points. The only thing I would say in addition to that is the whole, like, 30 days is kind of letting the whole shortening of the time frame, I don't really think does a huge amount for the players per se. I mean, your concerns are valid, but it's one of those things, like, there's no real point. Like, there's, like, it doesn't change anything. Like, people are still going to transfer out regardless of if the coach is hired on a Friday or a Monday, So, like, even if I get the red shirt thing, that is probably a genuine concern, and someone has definitely thought of that. My favorite saying with that is, if whatever the worst case scenario you can think of in your head is, it's 10 times worse. Someone else has thought something 10 times worse. So yes, that is a very valid concern. But again, the kids are still going to transfer regardless.
Yes, and you said really kind of why I'm so upset about this in the first place. It doesn't really do anything. It doesn't matter. And you're not wrong. It really doesn't matter. So why are we spending time, effort, and resources in figuring out, oh, no, the in-season transfer portal, that's the issue.
Yeah.
Not us dragging our feet on all this stuff when the writing has been on the wall for years that eventually all of this stuff was going to come to a head. No, we're going to ignore that. And we're going to keep ignoring it. We're not going to face the bigger issues. We're just going to go with, after a coach is fired, that's the transfer portal we care about. It's insane. I wish the NCAA. I hated it when it was the Wild West out here and players were just doing what they wanted. I kind of like it more than hearing an update. Oh, the NCAA has decided that now you can only transfer to schools that start with the same letter as the school you're transferring from. Why are we doing this?
That would be hilarious. So we have a transfer from Akron to Alabama. That would be golden.
Some school would definitely avoid that, like Auburn or Alabama, let's say.
Yeah.
Auburn, let's say a player transferred from Auburn to Alabama. And Auburn would go, no, you can't do that. It has to start with A. And Alabama would go, we're Alabama, the University of Alabama. That's a U, no. Or vice versa, Alabama would do the same thing to Auburn. That'd be hilarious. I kind of want this to be a rule now. It's not the dumbest thing the NCAA has ever done. That might be, potentially, their latest rule change, Ciarnan, not to do with the transfer portal. They have decided that they're going to allow college athletes to bet on professional sports. Not going into effect this year. D2 and 3 have to look at it later on in the year, and then it will be approved. This change allows the NCAA, the conferences, and the member schools to focus on protecting the integrity of college games while at the same time encouraging healthy habits for student athletes who choose to engage in betting activities on professional sports, said Illinois Athletic Director Josh Whitman. There are people against this, kind of saying this is not great. Ciarnan, what are your thoughts on betting in college sports?
This is where I am very firm in my stance. Athletes of any kind should not be betting on any sport, period. I find it to be a case of a addictive habit making things worse for the athlete themselves. Yes, they're not betting on their own games or games that they have an active stake in. I understand that. But their gambling is an addictive habit. You know, people do get addicted to it and it becomes a problem. When you have a ton of money coming in with these NIL things, with the possibility of contracts for professional sports, it will get so much worse. I understand that these people are adults. They're perfectly capable of making their own decisions, but I find it to be there should be a blanket ban on athletes betting on any sport ever. I'll give you horses. But other than that, nothing.
I have two thoughts on this. One, it is a good thing, though, that when players leave school and go to play in these professional leagues, they just fully stop talking to anyone they played with before who might still be at the school.
Okay,
but that's a joke. They still are friends. They still have a way to influence this game. Let's say a 7th round pick who was out of eligibility or an undrafted guy. He's on the field a few snaps a game. He's making league minimum. His buddy, who's making bank in NIL, it's like, hey, do something to change this impact so your team loses. I'll put a cool $6K on it and then split it, or a cool like $6 million on it and split it.
Yeah.
That is a very real outcome that could
Mhm.
happen because of this rule. And I don't necessarily hate the idea of letting these players kind of live their lives. I understand what you're saying. I want a list of sports based on what sport you play on what you can bet on.
Horses, that's it. It's the only thing you can bet on.
Well, if you're a football player, you can't bet on football, obviously, NFL or CFL. You can't bet on basketball or baseball. You can bet on like the Chinese Soccer League and Cameroonian basketball.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
the rules. If you play college baseball, same for the big three for football, basketball, and baseball. And then you can bet on a Finnish Hockey League and Australian Football League. Like, just you can bet on 2 sports plus horses, and those are the sports you can bet on exclusively as a D1 athlete or a college athlete in general.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And if anyone's saying that's ridiculous, that's way too granular, nobody's going to care that much. The NCAA will. We just spent the entire time talking about how they decided to cut down a window by 10 days.
Yeah. So if you think our suggestions are ridiculous, you have not been paying attention to anything we've been saying or the NCAA just as an entity.
It's insane.
More terrible decisions by the NCAA.
They're
Auburn
just
versus Baylor.
awful. Oh my god. So, yeah. Y'all should have listened to this man. This is Auburn. For years, is like, oh, we have one of the best home environments in college football. Oh, our home stadium. It gets recruits in the door. It gets us on a winning path. Oh, NIL money? Yes, we will play Baylor to open the 2026 season. Thank you for asking, Chick-fil-A. It's insane. You cannot tout how great your home field advantage is and then go play in Atlanta.
Yeah. How does Atlanta keep getting all these games? Like,
because they just spent a bunch of money on a new stadium. Actually, that was like 5 years ago now, 6, but still.
yeah, but still, like, if you want a stadium, a professional stadium to host a professional game of football, make it the actual NFL. I don't care what you do about the NFL. College football games are meant to be played with an insane home field environment. That is the whole point. If you take it out of that area where fans can readily access it, specifically the students, it is no longer college football. It is professional football with some extra pageantry. That's it. So stop moving games. If you want the NFL to be in London, you want the NFL to be in Dublin, fine. Those are professional organizations. They get paid very well. Do not put college football, as much as I love the Aer Lingus Classic, and I do, right? Stop putting college games in Ireland. Or anywhere that there isn't their actual home stadium.
I 100% disagree with you on that.
Just the Ireland thing
is sick.
As much as I want to deny it, it is awesome. It's so much fun. I still don't want to see it.
I want to see it. That's the limit of it. I do not want to see an NFL game or a college football game between Michigan and Western Michigan in Germany.
Yeah. That's worse. That's so much worse. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, we're like 90 minutes up the road from each other. Why don't we play each other? But in Dusseldorf. Why? What's the point?
Yeah.
And I will admit, as someone who has gone to the Chick-fil-A kickoff in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it's kind of sick.
That's fine. It might be a great stadium. There's tons of sports where you could argue that is a great idea, a great place to play. The NFL is a perfect example. Throw an MLS game in there. No bother. Atlanta had a rugby team up until not too long ago. Reinvigorate that. Put a rugby game in there. It'll be much better than the humidity that they'll be, out in normally. So yeah, put any professional sports team you want, put them in there, but do not move the college football games from their home environments. That it no longer makes them college football. That simple as that.
That's fair. My issue more, as with most things in life, is just with Auburn.
It's not even that it's moving. It's just that it's Auburn.
As an idea, well, no, it's the fact it's such a I would find the same issues with Texas A&M doing this. It's the kind of thing where they go, we have such a great home environment. We are the Auburn family, the Texas A&M 12th man. It's to then take that and go, well, actually, we're going to play somewhere else for money is insane. But also, you brought up a good point about moving NFL or moving to NFL stadiums or moving games there. If you are a college team, a D1 bona fide college football team with a history, you have no business playing in NFL stadiums for every home game.
Yeah.
It is look, one-off games, we disagree on this, but I think a one-off game is fine. University of Miami, you should not be playing at Hard Rock. Pitt, you should not be playing at Heinz Field or whatever the hell they're calling it now. It's Heinz Field in our hearts. Yeah. Get actual stadiums. I understand they're in cities, but they could find a way.
Just to counter that point, Georgia Tech, who does have their own stadium, could arguably play in the Mercedes-Benz Dome because it's literally right there.
It's in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But and to that end, Pittsburgh and like the other schools that like use stadiums because they don't have their own necessarily, I'm okay with that. But like actively moving out of your own home stadium to play in something when you have your own, that's when I have a problem.
Well, I don't like the idea of long-term teams playing in NFL stadiums. But that's just me. But Ciarnan, moving on from, I guess, just stuff that pisses us off this week, we're going to talk the AP poll. Unless you have any other thoughts on this.
No.
All right. AP poll week 7 first up, and there's still so much movement. We got to go through the whole thing again, Ciarnan. Others receiving votes: Cincinnati at 129, Texas at 111, Penn State at 97, Utah at 84, Nebraska at 60, USC at 46, UNLV at 19, North Texas at 16, TCU at 14, Washington and Mississippi State at 10, Navy at 4, Louisville at 3, and Auburn at 1. Any thoughts, Ciarnan?
Yes, that confused the hell out of me because that's others receiving votes, not where they were ranked. So
you heard Auburn at 1 and you're like, what happened?
No, I heard Penn State at 97. I'm like, yeah, that tracks. And I'm like, hold on a second. They actually probably got votes.
They did get votes. But any other thoughts on Penn State?
No. Enough's been said over Twitter and Instagram. I don't need to repeat any of it.
That's fair. All right, at 25, you have Florida State dropping 7 spots. You have USF at 24, Memphis at 23, Iowa State at 22, dropping 8. Arizona State up 4 to 21, and Vandy dropping 4 to number 20. Ciarnan, thoughts?
No, not really. Just Memphis and USF, deserved, frankly.
Yeah, USF getting fully dropped was insane. I'm glad they're back. Also, Vandy, you ran your mouths, and now we're just Vandy. Like, you should have beat us. We're just Vandy. No, you're not allowed to say you're probably going to beat us. You're not allowed to have your quarterback practice kneel downs, which is an insane thing to do before a game. And you're not allowed to have Johnny Manziel on the sidelines and go, well, we're just Vandy.
Yeah. It was a bad look. I wish the game would have been closer, but put it to you this way: it wasn't the worst performance Vandy has had against Alabama. Let's just go
No,
with that.
no. I remember 2017 where Vandy did also run their mouth for that game and lost 59-0.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad performance, but I hate Vandy. They remind me, or their fans. I'm not saying them, the players and the coaches. I still love Clark Lee. There was a story this girl told on Twitter or Reddit or something, and it was like, "Oh, I used to date a guy who was like 5'5", which was fine, but he'd pick fights with bigger people, and then when they go to swing, he'd go, 'I'm just a little guy. Like you wouldn't hurt a little guy like me.'" And that's Vandy, really, or their fans. Like, "Oh, we're gonna beat Alabama. It's time for Vandy. Oh, whoa, we're just Vandy. Like what? We didn't do anything. It's insane. I hate their fans.
I I understand that. I understand that. But for Vanderbilt's perspective, you have to understand that like that's all they could do. Like they either personally or whatever they needed to hype themselves up to say that they can do this in order to just put points to the board. Because even if it's delusional, which it was something that they needed to do regardless, and they would have done it regardless. No, it doesn't matter who they were playing necessarily. If they were playing Georgia, I think the message would have been the same. Yes, Vanderbilt did beat them last year, and all this jazz, and a huge upset, whatever. But the mere fact of the matter is, it's like Vandy had to do it. There was no other way. Even if they look bad, on the flip side of it, they had to do it just purely for themselves.
That's fair. I would also like to point I called this game perfectly. Go follow Bell Sports on socials. We're doing more content, native social media content there, which I'm very excited about. And we do videos for games now, like short little minute clips. I said Alabama would be up. The spread was 10.5 when I did this, but it moved to 11.5. I said they were going to be up by like 4 late, get a last minute touchdown to cover. They were up 6 late, scored a last minute touchdown to cover. So I was very proud of myself for calling that because I did terrible on our bets this week, but we'll get into that in a minute. Moving on. Number 19, Virginia moving up 5 spots. BYU moving up 5 to 18. Illinois moving up 5 to 17. Notre Dame also moving up 5 to 16. And Michigan moving up 5 to 15. And we're just going to keep going until we stop hitting fives. Missouri moving up 5 to number 14. I don't really have any issues, to be honest.
Really? Nothing to say about Notre Dame?
I'm not allowed to say the word I want to say in regards to Notre Dame, so
And
I'm
we
just going
will
to
move on.
I'm just going to ignore their existence on this until I hit. And Blaine, Kelsey, Jared, DJ, Vince, I'm sorry, I'm using that word if they get back in the top 10 a lot. So yeah, we're just going to ignore their existence. Much like the Catholic Church ignored. All right, Georgia Tech moving up 4 spots to number 13. Tennessee moving up 3 spots, number 12. LSU moving up 2 spots, number 11. Georgia up 2 to 10. Texas Tech up 2 to number 9. And Alabama up 2 to number 8. Kieran, thoughts?
No real issues. I'm still frankly surprised to see Georgia Tech still kicking about, which is huge. It's great to see. It's fun. Other than that, no real issues. I think it's pretty well coordinated with strength of schedule and all that. So first time AP poll has done a good job.
Yeah. Georgia Tech, you mentioned Texas Tech. Huge year for the technical colleges. That's awesome to see for the Red Raiders. Last thought on this.
All right, man. Just say what you've been saying, man. Why do you hate Tennessee?
Man, I hate Tennessee because first of
all right, moving on. Number 7, Indiana moving up 1 spot. Oklahoma down 1 to number 6. A&M up 1 to number 5. Ole Miss staying put at 4. Oregon down 1 to 3. Miami up 1 to number 2. And Ohio State still is your number 1 team in the country. Kiernan, any thoughts on the top 7?
Yeah. Kirk Cignetti's making you eat your words, buddy.
Oregon's going to dominate them.
I can't wait for this game because this is going to actually I can't wait, and I can wait for this game because if Indiana just half as good of a job as we did against Oregon, then, and they even come with, bring it into overtime or whatever, I am looking at our loss and just saying, like, this is so much worse. So much worse. Because, like, even now, I would say Penn State should still arguably beat Indiana. But I'm looking at it now going, if Indiana beats Oregon, all hell's going to break loose in the Big Ten.
That's fair.
And, actually, hold on. Let's follow this up with, if Ohio State's at Illinois this week, if Illinois wins, talk about I'm just saying if.
Oh no, I'm not mad about the
Brett
if. I'm
Bielema's
saying
back,
college
baby.
football. Oh my god, I would not shut up. I'd be vindicated. I need
lost Indiana doesn't matter.
I need Illinois to win convincingly against Ohio State, and I need Oregon to dominate Indiana, and I am vindicated. I'll probably say I'm vindicated even if Illinois just plays Ohio State close.
Yeah.
I just saw that game. I was looking for alternate lines for whatchamacallit, for Oregon, Indiana to maybe change up my bets, but I decided I didn't want to be too crazy. All right. Ohio State's a 14-point favorite. If Illinois covers, I'm vindicated.
All right.
And if they don't, I'm just early still.
Yeah, still early.
I'm going to be saying I'm early for the next 5 years. Kurt Cignetti's going to be gone, and Indiana's going to lose an easy game against a still Big Ten opponent. I'm going to be vindication.
That's gold.
All right. I alluded to how badly I did on our bets last week. Well, we're going to break them down for you real quick. I think I went 0 for 3, Ciarnan.
Oof.
I did. I had Iowa State money line, Mississippi State plus 14.5 versus A&M, and Kent State's first drive ending in a turnover on downs, or a safety. They punted their first drive. Iowa State lost to Cincinnati, and Mississippi State lost by 20 to Texas A&M.
Oof.
You had Illinois money line. They won against Purdue. You had Boston College plus 6. They lost 48-6, I think.
I was watching that game on the as it was updating on my phone, and I was just looking at it going, oh, this is so much worse. It just keeps getting worse. Every time I saw something, it was never a good thing for Boston College.
No, that's usually how Boston College football goes, though. You don't really see good things happen to them.
No.
That's true. And then you had Michigan winning by 13 to 18 points. And I looked at the score at one point. I was like, ooh, it doesn't look like you're going to hit this, Ciarnan. But you did. 14-point win for the Maize and Blue. So go you. 2 for 3.
Yeah.
Moving on to Ciarnan's weather reports. Or weather report. It's one report. Ciarnan, how's the weather looking this weekend?
Well, I'll tell you something for nothing. The Sam Levitt down in ASU is prepping for stormy conditions in Salt Lake City on Saturday, as there's a video that has surfaced of basically every time he's throwing a ball, he's being constantly sprayed with water. So there you go. It's going to be wet and wild in Salt Lake City. Love those Mormons down there. Other than that, it is going to be pissing rain, basically all over the northwest, specifically Oregon. Indiana plays Oregon at Oregon, and Wake Forest plays Oregon State in Oregon State, or in Oregon State Stadium, excuse me. It is just going to be blanket conditions, so expect heavy run-like bets to be made, basically all the way down the Colorado Rockies. If there's a game being played in the vicinity of the Colorado Rockies, it's going to be raining, so just bet heavy on runs, I presume. That would be my guess, despite it's the former Pac-12 being known for highfalutin throwing offenses. So there you go. There's the weather report. Other than that, it's pretty much dry.
Any snow?
No snow yet, just rain.
Because you missed the snow report last week here.
I didn't even know that was happening. I did miss it, but like that was wild.
Yes.
Wyoming.
UNLV winning a snow game. Insane against Wyoming. But there is Ciarnan's weather report. Now onto our week 7 bets. I'll start with my money line. Oregon over Indiana. Bold pick, I know. I debated my miscellaneous being alternative spread 21.5, Oregon over Indiana. But I decided to just go with the money line. Ciarnan, what do you got?
So I have I have Nebraska. I have Maryland over Nebraska. So it's at Maryland, but Maryland is plus 215.
I like it. I'm very high on Maryland. I love their quarterback.
They have been doing a great job.
Yep. What about your spread? What do you got?
Now, this is what separates the men from the boys. All right. The KUM Bowl. It's Kent State UMass. The spread is plus or minus 2.5. Give me UMass at plus 2.5 to cover the spread. I need it. I need it, Kev.
Damn, my spread currently is Bowling Green plus 10.5 versus Toledo in the Battle of I-75. I might take Kent State minus 2.5.
Oh, yeah, go on. If you no, an additional bet for you is Kent State minus 2.5. There you go.
I got a bet on the Kev Bowl.
Yep.
All right, so I just said my spread, but it's Bowling Green plus 10.5 versus Toledo in the Battle of I-75. I believe in Pudge. And then my miscellaneous, Jam Miller, anytime touchdown versus Missouri. Seems like a lock. Just take it in for an anytimer. Ciarnan, what is your miscellaneous pick?
My miscellaneous pick is, hang on a second. I had it up on my phone, which I can't get to now. Great audio, great podcasting here. My pick is, I think, Taryn Dickens from Western Carolina, who just went off last week. If you hadn't seen, he had 46 consecutive passes completed, and an insane 3 touchdowns as well. So I'm going Taryn Dickens. I think it's plus 2 touchdowns.
What are the odds on that bad boy?
I don't know. It's fucking not showing up on my phone. I'll find them.
All right. I'll look while I'm doing the graphic. All right. For quick recap, I have Oregon over Indiana at minus 305. I have Bowling Green plus 10.5 versus Toledo. I have Jam Miller anytime touchdown at minus 105. And I have a special bonus bet of Kent State minus 2.5 versus UMass. Ciarnan has Maryland over Nebraska at plus 215 for his money line. UMass plus 2.5 for his spread. And Taryn Dickens 2+ touchdowns this weekend. All right. Let's hope we do better than last week, Ciarnan. But it's time for our mid-team reports, Ciarnan. How are the Morgantown faithful doing?
Well, they could be better, I'll be honest with you, Kev. The Morgantown faithful have had a rough start to their time. They thankfully were not playing this past week, so I don't believe they were. Yeah, they weren't.
So it could be better if there was a game to watch or talk about.
Yeah, basically.
That's fair.
We'll see how it is come week. Sorry, it's week
7.
Yeah, it's week 7.
Week 6.
My mistake.
Just week 6. Week 7's this weekend.
Yeah, week 6.
All right. Well, Ciarnan.
Hold on. Sorry, my mistake. I was looking at the wrong schedule, as I've been doing a lot recently.
It's the week
BYU.
0 thing all over again.
I know it is. It is. It's my fault. I should be more prepared. BYU cleaned house on West Virginia, 38-24. Another L for our Mountaineer friends. Really nothing good is coming out of West Virginia. They still can't get into the triple digits for either rushing, passing, or receiving yards. The only thing that they have going for them is their defense is okay. Their inside linebacker Wilson has 11 tackles, but other than that, I mean, if you can't break 100 triple digits as a quarterback, there's problems.
That's fair. Well, Ciarnan, it sounds like the Zoo faithful had a much better weekend than you. They said we couldn't do it. They said it wasn't going to happen. They said Kev was bad luck for college football teams. Well, buddy, we held Western Michigan to our lowest scoring output all season. That's right, folks. 21 points given up to Western Michigan. That is a huge win for UMass, considering they give up 27 points to the Bryant Bulldogs, an FCS school in Rhode Island. They gave up 42 to Temple, 47 to Iowa. I didn't know Iowa could score 47 points, and 42 to Missouri, but only 21 to Western Michigan. Don't ask me how many points they scored because that makes me way less hyped. Nope, 21-3 loss. They're 0-1 in MAC play officially, but their quarterback, Ciarnan, I think for the first time all season, combined for over 200 yards and over 50% completion percentage. Incredible. They had 57 yards of the ground, partially because of A.J. Hairston's negative 25 rushing yards. Not great. No passing touchdowns. No sacks. No interceptions. How did they only give up 21 points? Yeah, but Derek Morris, team MVP, 1 for 2, 50% field goal percentage, but team leading scorer and punted 6 times compared to Western Michigan's 4. Yeah, so not great. They did give up 1 passing touchdown in the game. But yeah, so improvement, Ciarnan, brick by brick, can only go up.
There you
go. Finally, before we get out of here, Luke, I'm changing the name of this, Ciarnan. We're rebranding it.
Okay.
It's no longer shit Luke Fickell could buy. It's Luke Fickell's shopping list. Just because if I want to make a graphic or market it for anything, then we kind of need to. But they're playing Iowa this week, Ciarnan. Iowa's known for a lot of things. Corn, politics, the Field of Dreams, and John Deere. So that's what we're going into this week. He could buy 45,454,545.5 ears of corn at about 55 cents per ear. He could spend 21.4% of the RFK Jr. campaign in 2024. He allegedly spent $116.8 million. Or on the flip side, he could buy 9.26 Jill Steins because she spent $2.7 million on her campaign. Iowa caucus, obviously, is why they're known for politics. He could also go with the entire 1928 election expenditure by all parties. They spent $18 million, and we're talking this one because Herbert Hoover won that election. He is from Iowa. And last two, less political, more fun. The entire Field of Dreams budget with $10 million left over. That had a $15 million budget in 1989. I do not account for inflation. And finally, 57 John Deere 8R 250s at $436,912 a pop. John Deere was founded in Wisconsin, I believe. No, Iowa. So, well, there you have it. A lot of political stuff, a lot of corn, and a lot of tractors.
All right. Well, I'd like to give one extra topic here, Kev, because I felt inspired by the, stuff ex-coach could buy. So I was thinking, why don't I do that for James Franklin? So very quickly, we have his buyout is reportedly, it says it's above $48 million, but it's actually the figure I keep seeing is closer to $56 million. So that's what the number I went with. I know there's bonuses and things in there, but I'm going to go with the higher number. So currently from State College Airport, he can buy himself first-class tickets into Exile, which will be Cappadocia, Turkey, which is a beautiful spot on the Mediterranean, for $14,000 per first-class seat, and that will get him 4,000 of those trips. So frankly, a bargain. Grilled Stickies, very famous kind of dessert in Penn State, at a 6-pack will set you back $475. So he could buy 1,964,912 packs of those. Sticking with the Penn State theme, he could buy 10 half-gallon pints from the Berkey Creamery at $208. He could buy just shy of 270,000 of them. He could repay the Penn State endowment of $4.5 billion. He could pay, if he were to give it back, he could pay 1% of that, just over 1%. He instead, to alleviate some of the suffering that he has endured on Penn State students, he could pay back an in-state tuition. He could pay 2,800 students tuitions for a year. And because he's put us through so much trauma, the average therapy session in Pennsylvania is around $135. So he could pay for 408,800 therapy sessions, which is essentially the all 4 weeks, the first 4 weeks of Penn State students, or Penn State stadium capacity is it's 107,000, but pretty close. There you go.
Nice. I have a question.
Yeah.
If it wants to load. Is this what a grilled sticky is?
More or less, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
All right. For those who don't know, it looks like a flattened cinnamon roll, basically. For those listening to the audio version, it's what it looks like. I'm sure it's good. I wasn't sure, so I had to Google it. If you're watching on YouTube, that's what it looks like. So, all right. Well, thank you everyone for stopping by. Everyone have a good, safe, fun weekend. Reminder: no show next week. I am on my honeymoon and I prefer to stay married, so I do not plan on recording a podcast while I am there. Everyone have a good, safe, fun weekend. Make good choices. And if you're going to miss us next week, why don't you go to the Tailgate and the Quad YouTube, where all of our off-season content, or most of our off-season content is, or the Belly Up Sports YouTube. Kind of watch a little bit of this season. Why not watch some other great Belly Up Sports content while you're there as well? And yeah, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Let's hope Penn State stops losing so I don't have to find myself a new co-host, because that sounds like way too much work. Also, I'm friends with Ciarnan and all that, but mainly too much work to find a new co-host. So
yeah, there it is. See ya.
Bye. They're eating the dogs, Ciarnan, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
dogs.
You know that? They were
They're
eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years and just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to the school. Recruits are going to see this.
You have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out.
Oh, God, that's going to be part of our intro next year. Oh, shit.